It is December 28th, 2022. This is Reality Stretch. I'm your host, Spencer Ingram. Let's stretch reality together. I'm your host, Spencer Ingram. Let's stretch Haha, yo, I'm gonna redo that and delete it out of the podcast. I had the stream open live in a different window, so it ended up like creating this weird feedback loop. Let's try that again. It is December 28th, 2022. This is Reality Stretch. I'm your host, Spencer Ingram. Let's stretch reality together. Good morning. Couple minutes late, 6:48 here. You know what I want to do this morning? What's in the sandbox? I need to be better about doing my sandbox and cutting out distractions, because the sandbox is my note on my phone, and it's designed to, when I have an idea of something that I want to look into, I shouldn't deviate from what I'm supposed to be doing right then to look into it. And then a half hour later, it's like, whoops, where did all the time go? So that's the purpose of the sandbox. When I have an idea that I think needs to be investigated, I should write it down in the sandbox and then consider it to the next morning during the stream, which is my personal development, study time, etc. That's the plan. And I need to be better about doing that. And I think one of the things that I need to do is cut out social media, except at predetermined designated times. Because it is so easy just to scroll and scroll and scroll. And I don't know what it is that I'm looking for, but for some reason my brain just wants to see what I encounter next as I scroll indefinitely. And then on YouTube, I'll get trapped by thumbnails and clickbait. And like yesterday, while I was supposed to be working my day job, I watched Mr. Beast's Antarctica video because it's so entertaining. I mean, it's so cool. And then, of course, I listened to the Colin and Samir podcast the other day, and they were talking about Ryan Trahan walking across the United States by an 8-hour vlog series. I didn't watch the whole series, obviously, but I watched his final leg of the trip when he made it to the finish line. And so, like, it's just a distraction. It's just a silly distraction I got roped into. I allowed myself to be pulled into it. So that's what I want to avoid. And what do we know from let's build like an affirmation here. What do I know, or what do I believe, as far as if what I put my focus on, I get more of? So I shouldn't say I want to avoid a certain distraction. What I should say is I just want to maximize productive time or productive hours, or make the best use of my time so that I can hit my goals and my key indicators. Why? Because my goals and key indicators are important to me. And in order to feel fulfilled to some degree, I want to produce. All right, let's see. So there are some things generally in my sandbox I need to copy over to my main sandbox. But I had a random thought this morning of something that I want to look up. I want to see if the Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Now, I think if people were to hear that phrase, the science of getting rich, I think that there's a risk of some people in the ethos some people out there that might say, well, that sounds like a greedy motivation or something, or something to some extent, right? Just getting rich, like that's interesting, right? Um, it, you just have to read this little book. It's very short, it's very concise. If you're an audiobook person, then listen to the 2-hour audiobook. It's very short, it's available pretty much anywhere. And it hardly takes any time at all. But this guy basically makes a correlation between being rich and progressing. Come on. Basically makes a correlation between being rich and progressing in life. Now, as far as your ability to live your fullest material potential, but he also says like money is an energy, so being able to express yourself fully and in material things is indicative of I don't know exactly how to say it. I guess just read the book. But when I hear the science of getting rich, to me, I kind of just breeze past that concept in my mind, and I'm viewing it more as the ability to create. And I think it's kind of like a fun mindset book to an extent. So let's go to Project Gutenberg and see if this is in public domain. Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Here it is. Read this book online. I love Project Gutenberg. EPUB, plain text. Read this book online, HTML5. And that's what I'm going to hit. Except I'm going to open it up in a new tab. Because there's a nice summary. There's a concise summary at the end of this that I want to read this morning. Going into 2023. This is not long. Alright. Alright, are we ready for this? I'm going to read this in a manner that I can clip this from this video, potentially overlay it over some sort of media and listen to it or put it in some other form of, way to ingest this. And again, as a reminder, I'm streaming to YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And if anyone wants to participate, comment on what I'm talking about, or give me some things from their sandbox that they think are interesting that they would like me to explore further on the stream, you can tweet at Reality Stretch. You can participate in the YouTube live chat or the Twitch chat. There are so many ways to interact. I have Twitter pulled up. I have the YouTube live chat pulled up. I have Twitch chat pulled up. So if anyone does come interact, then I'm ready for it. All right, so here we go. This is the summary of The Science of Getting Rich, and this is Science of Getting Rich is a book by Wallace Wattles. Let me tell you real quick when it was written. Let's get some metadata here. All right, hang on. might have to find the info from a different source, because it looks like Project Gutenberg isn't giving me the metadata I want. I want to know when it was written. Here we go. Hang on. Getting Rich, Wikipedia, Wallace Wattles. Published in 1910. According to USA Today. Don't you love Wikipedia? The text is divided into 17 short, straight-to-the-point chapters that explain how to overcome mental barriers and how creation, rather than competition, is the key to wealth attraction. All right, 1910, Wallace D Wattles. Here we go. There is... I'm going to actually blow this up for my eyes. Why not? Let's put it at 125. Perfect. Summary of the Science of Getting Rich. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive to the creative mind. Otherwise, he cannot be in harmony with the formless intelligence, which is always creative and never competitive in spirit. Man may come into full harmony with the formless substance by entertaining a lively and sincere gratitude for the blessings it bestows upon him. Gratitude unifies Gratitude unifies the mind of man with the intelligence of substance, so that man's thoughts are received by the formless. Man can remain upon the creative plane only by uniting himself with the formless intelligence through a deep and continuous feeling of gratitude. Man must form a clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have, to do, or to become. He must hold this mental image in his thoughts, while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all his desires are granted to him. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating his vision, and in earnest thanksgiving that the reality is being given to him. Too much stress cannot be laid on the importance of frequent contemplation of the mental image, coupled with unwavering faith and devout gratitude. This is the process by which the impression is given to the formless, and the creative forces set in motion. The creative energy works through the established channels of natural growth, and of the industrial and social order. All that is included in his mental image will surely be brought to the man who follows the instructions given above, and whose faith does not waver. What he wants will come to him through the ways of established trade and commerce. In order to receive his own when it shall come to him, man must be active, and this activity can only consist in more than filling his present place. He must keep in mind the purpose to get rich through the realization of his mental image, and he must do every day all that can be done that day, taking care to do each act in a successful manner. He must give to every man a use value in excess of the cash value he receives, so that each transaction makes for more life. and he must so hold the advancing thought that the impression of increase will be communicated to all with whom he comes in contact. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness is that right? And the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision. I feel like it should be like definitiveness, isn't it? Is that a definiteness? Is that I don't know. I better look that up. Definitions of definiteness. But am I pronouncing it right? The quality of being predictable with great confidence. Aha, that's a word. The quality of being predictable with great confidence. Conclusiveness, decisiveness, finality. The quality of being final or definitely settled. Definiteness. Is that? Let me look up the pronunciation.
Definiteness. Definiteness.
I don't think that's the. Why would you
Definiteness.
Why would you use an AI voice to try to explain how something's pronounced?
Definiteness.
Very strange.
Definiteness.
Oh, whatever. Definiteness. Let's say the AI is right. Definiteness. Okay. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision, the fixity of their purpose, the steadiness of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude. I think I can read that again in a way that better emphasizes the message. Hang on. Let's try this again. Besides, if I can read this in a way that works better, then I don't have to go through the mind-numbing activity of having to edit out all those scuffs in Audacity. So I'm going to give myself one more time to read it. Whatever timestamp I'm on, I'm at about 19 minutes in. So I'm going to make a note here. About 20 minutes in. Pull that clip. Now here we go. Here's my 100% effort. No stops. Apparently I know how to pronounce definiteness now. And also that is partly the word that I've been looking for. Complete your task each day with definiteness. Thank you, Wallace Wattles. That's a good accompaniment to proactable, the word I made up. Now, maybe definiteness. Now, definiteness definitely needs to be part of the definition of proactable, but it doesn't quite circumvent or eclipse its meaning. I would still need more words other than definiteness to describe proactable. So, I can't replace it, but I'll definitely use it. Add definiteness to the definition of proactable. Putting this in my sandbox. Here we go. The summary of the science of getting rich. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and which, in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills the interspaces of the universe. A thought in this substance produces the thing that is imaged by the thought. Man can form things in his thought, and by impressing his thought upon formless substance, can cause the thing he thinks about to be created. In order to do this, man must pass from the competitive, to the creative mind. Otherwise, he cannot be in harmony with the formless intelligence, which is always creative and never competitive in spirit. Man may come into full harmony with the formless substance by entertaining a lively and sincere gratitude for the blessings it bestows upon him. Gratitude unifies the mind of man with the intelligence of substance, so that man's thoughts are received by the formless. Man can remain upon the creative plane only by uniting himself with the formless intelligence through a deep and continuous feeling of gratitude. Man must form a clear and definite mental image of the things he wishes to have, to do, or to become, and he must hold his mental image in his thoughts while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all his desires are granted to him. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating his vision and in earnest thanksgiving that the reality is being given to him. Too much stress cannot be laid on the importance of frequent contemplation of the mental image, coupled with unwavering faith and devout gratitude. This is the process by which the impression is given to the formless, and the creative forces set in motion. The creative energy works through the established channels of natural growth and of the industrial and social order. All that is included in his mental image will surely be brought to the man who follows the instructions given above, and whose faith does not waver. What he wants will come to him through the ways of established trade and commerce. In order to receive his own when it shall come to him, man must be active, and this activity can only consist in more than filling his present place. He must keep in mind the purpose to get rich through the realization of his mental image, and he must do, every day, all that can be done that day, taking care to do each act in a successful manner. He must give to every man a use value in excess of the cash value he receives, so that each transaction makes for more life, and he must so hold the advancing thought that the impression of increase will be communicated to all with whom he comes in contact. The men and women who practice the foregoing instructions will certainly get rich, and the riches they receive will be in exact proportion to the definiteness of their vision, the fixity of their purpose, the steadiness of their faith, and the depth of their gratitude. Nailed it, in my opinion, but whatever. At least I didn't stumble over something. I think there's like a natural break that's in the middle of one of those paragraphs that I could have emphasized more, but it's not written that way. But anyway, it's okay. I like that summary, and I used to listen to someone recorded an audiobook of this and put it on YouTube. I used to listen to just the summary, and in fact, I did this very exercise a few years ago. Like 5 years ago, and I recorded myself reading the summary of The Science of Getting Rich. I put some little, background music to it, but I don't know where that file is. I don't know if it's in existence anymore. And so, there we go. I'm going to mute my mic, shut my camera, and blow my nose. Probably a little bit TMI. But hey, personally, I'd rather have a blank screen and no audio than have me blow my nose on a live stream. It's my stream. I do what I want. um, there you go. Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. Let's move on. That's the summary. I will post the link to this Project Gutenberg thingamabobber in the show notes that I post daily on Substack. Now, Substack is a paid subscription platform, but I'm just squatting on there for free. I don't have a paywall, don't have anything to pay for behind the paywall. So you can just get on there, subscribe for free. It's really just a glorified sort of email newsletter is the way I have it set up. So if anyone quote unquote subscribes to my Substack, then they'll just get like a daily email of what my show notes were for that day. So yet another way that people can participate in this stream. So let's take a second and update the show notes. All right. So I'm going to copy this. I should do this prior to the stream. I'll try to remember that so no one has to bear with me. But we're still in such a big learning mode experience here that I'll just get better over time. This is episode 9. Crazy. See, imagine by episode 100 how much better I'll be at this. Hopefully be way better. Alright, so updating the show notes real quick. What have we talked about so far? We've just basically done the science summary of the science of getting rich. Now, if I were to clip that section and re-upload it, and again, this happened in 1910. If I were to clip that section and re-upload it, then I'd probably have like Star Wars style scrolling of the text as I read it. So I'm going to copy that text real quick since I have the HTML pulled up. I'd love to get a hard copy of this book, maybe. I bet thrift books, my favorite. I'll bet thrift books, my favorite eBay seller of used books. I'll bet that it has what I would need. I'll release this summary in a couple ways, but if I keep it vertical, then it lends itself nicely to like a YouTube Shorts format or something. I mean, I might be able to just scroll like this for 4 minutes and like record it or something. Maybe. The objective of that summary for me, again, is more so not necessarily about manifesting riches for riches' sake. Just to reiterate that. It's more so about being in the creative plane. And that's very important to me moving into 2023. It's very important to me to be on the creative plane. And when I have so many goals and so many things I'd like to do, carefully selecting those. both the quarterly goals and the annual goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, whatever. Because again, this time before, let's say 9 a.m., still need maybe 8:30. This time in the morning is my time to learn, to develop, to do my self-development. Granted, I do that through the whole day, ideally. But this is my time for self-improvement, for study, for reflection. And goofing off in a positive way. So for fun, let's give an example of that. If we're just gonna goof off for a minute. If I go to the National Jukebox, let's find a recording from let's do a search. Collection items. There's got to be I know there's a way to get to the advanced search. So, yep, here it is. Advanced search. Start date. Watch. I'm going to produce a recording from 1910. So, I'll say start date is 12/31, 1909. End date is 12/31, 1910. Oops. 12/31, 1910. Let's see how many recordings there are in this collection. There are 635. I'm just going to scroll until I find something. Oh, a lullaby. Isn't that sweet? Uh-huh. What the heck is this? I don't think that's the spirit of what I want to convey. I'm just curious. It's called The Dog Fight, a song called The Dog Fight from 1910. Uncle Josh and the Labor Union. What is this? What is this? Birds of Spring. William Tell, Flower Song. What's the flower song? Is that like Lakme, the opera? I don't know. When was Lakme actually written? I'm interested in opera. Maybe we'll have to do a little bit of a deep dive. That just reminded me. I dreamt about beatboxing last night. How random. How random is that? I just remembered that right now. Okay. What's this? Like a Christian Science hymn? What? The, I didn't know Christian Scientists were even a thing in 1910. When did they start? Patrol of the Scouts, a military band. I'm afraid to come home in the dark. What the? CCC? Is this a sea shanty? Flower Waltz from the Nutcracker Suite. Boat Song. Man, if all 600 are as entertaining as these, I can spend a long time playing with this. Alright, let's listen. This is the dog fight.
Oh, where's the dog? Where's the dog? Bring on the dog. Will you call the dog? Come on now. Oh, where's the
It's an actual... I thought it was like an airplane dog fight.
Lordy there, gents. Now then, gents, this is a dog fight between two dogs. Mickey Donovan's prize bull tramp.
What?
And Patsy Keneally's brindle dog, Baloney. Hey, keep them dogs quiet, will you, Jimmy? All right.
No freaking way, dude. This is like... I feel so dirty right now. I feel like this is so unethical.
And a side bid of 50. Now, this fight's to be governed according to the New York pit rules.
The genre is comedy? Is it a joke?
Quiet, will you? All right, Carl. Now, the boys' thing is the appointment.
Can I find more info on it?
Has anybody got any objections to Mike Doyle? Why, no. Mike's all right. Well, then Mike Doyle will judge this fight, and without any outside interference either. See? Keep them dogs quiet, will you, boy? Why, certainly. Now, will somebody lend Mr. Riley the timekeeper a watchdog?
What am I listening to?
25 in for the dog time. Oh, we got him by here.
What am I? It's an actual dogfight recording. What on earth? Okay, next, Uncle Josh and the labor union.
Well, sure, long last winter, a fella come to Pumpkin Center and said he was a walking delegate for a labor union. He said everything was union now in order to be successful.
A comedic dialogue. That sounds like fun. This is popular music is the genre. How can you listen to it with all those bird songs over top? Not for me. That's the problem with popular music. It goes out of style. I would imagine the bird song music. Evidently it went out of style at some point, not sure when. Could have been very popular, who knows? But it's not a thing now. This is too mellow. It's pretty, too mellow. Don't think there's anything. Alright, here's the Christian Science hymn. I'm sure it's very nice. Patrol the Scouts. We're gonna have to put instrumental on there, I think. Alright, let's look. Select labels, I'm gonna say instrumental. They do have that as an option here. So I'm gonna redo my search. Instrumental. Hail to the Spirit of Liberty. Carnival made. Let's give this a go. Hail to the Spirit of Liberty. Recorded in 1910. Oh yeah, it's gotta be this, man. Woohoo! What a peppy, upbeat song. What? Is that like a marimba? What are we listening to? Someone would know. That's actually epic. I actually like that. I think that's funny. So look, what's funny about it's a xylophone. Duh. The xylophone solo with orchestra. That's so funny. I wonder if I should just like play that so quietly. That would be so funny. But look, I'll show you my trick. So, Library of Congress does not have a link to download them, but anything recorded before 1922 is free game. They even say that on the site. So, I don't know, maybe they are like systematically going through and enabling this on a selection of material, but either way, my workaround is to add it to the playlist, and then I right click on it to open it in a new tab, and then it brings up this little dialog in the browser that enables. This is such a goofy song. Absolutely, I'm using that for something. Really quick, I want to scrub it. So I'm going to see if I can remove some of that kind of endearing white noise. Because there's some sort of something about that white noise that is fun to listen to if you're weird. So here we go. I opened it in Audacity. Let's try to see how well it. Oh, this should be cakewalk because there's such a good selection of white noise. So I'm going to select this. Noise reduction, get noise profile. I'll try it with the default settings I have it on. Okay. There's like way more important things that I wanted to do during these early morning hours, specifically trying to think of having so many goals and things I want to do next year. I need to specifically like write all those down and figure out which ones I want to do. And I encourage everybody to do that. But this is fun. And again, morning time for me is also a little bit of goof off recreation time. So for the best stream content or the podcast content, but when you have a vast audience of none, it's not a problem. Let's see here. Just 1 second. Change one thing. Alright, so let's see how that turned out. I removed the white noise. Let's see. There's so many different settings you can do. It's pretty good, but let's see if we can do it better. And again, I'm using Audacity to do this. So I'm going to undo the noise reduction, and then I'm also going to duplicate this track so that I can make all of my edits on. I'm going to mute the duplicate track and only make my changes on. And I know it has a preview function, but to me, the preview almost takes longer to generate than the actual change. Noise reduction, get noise profile, done. Highlight the entire clip. Noise reduction. Now, noise reduction in dBs, I had it at 25. I'm going to raise it to like 40. I'm going to increase the sensitivity. And I'm going to leave the frequency smoothing bands as is. And we can try the preview function. Interesting. That sounds good. Let's try applying it to the whole clip. Let's see if we're left with anything usable. Here we go. Okay, that's good, but I'm going to leave that clip there. And, because either way, I just like this audio clip. I'm probably not going to use it for the science of getting rich. I might just use a nice, something calm, soothing from the Phaselian Studios thing that I like to use. I don't know. Let's try this again. But this time, because it's science, I want to just try changing one variable at a time. That's what I should have done. So I got the noise profile. I'm going to turn the sensitivity back to what it was, or less. I'm going to make it less sensitive, but keep my noise reduction volume the same. So I'll put the sensitivity at 5. Preview it. Yeah, because I'm going to turn down the sensitivity a little bit more even, because I like the sort of tinniness of the instruments, and I don't want it to be muted or muffled. Yeah, something like that a little bit sounds a little bit better to me. Let's try sensitivity at 3. I can hear kind of that, more of that tinny whine that you get sometimes. Let's try frequency smoothing band at 2. What does that do? I don't really know what frequency smoothing does, but let's apply this to the whole clip. Now we're going to have some sort of sick clip. Now let's amplify it. Amplify. It's going to default to a factor of 2, nearly. I wonder why so small. It must really clip somewhere here. This section, it really clips. Yeah, if I can remove that awful clip. Bam. Can I normalize this? Let's see. If I just turn down the individual node. I don't know what I'm doing here. Edit on a note by note basis, yes. Yep, I can just like turn it down a little bit. I'm not a sound engineer, obviously. Let's see if that sounds a little bit better. Sweet, I can like zoom in super far. I'll just smooth out this curve, see if I can make this thing go away. Whoops, that's a little bit, not a curve, that's more like a plateau. At least blended it. So let's see what it... I mean, it still sounds like there's an interruption there. That's fine. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. It's a silly clip. Quite an awesome clip. Appropriate for something. Although I don't know what. I don't know what it's appropriate for. It's just epic. That's what it is. That's so funny. Maybe I'll use it to replace my yodeling guy at the beginning of the podcast. I don't know. But the yodeler is just so great. I mean, I just love that yodeler. I think it's so awesome. It just makes me so happy. It makes me want to like swing my arms around. Be like, woohoo. We should listen to it again just because I like it so much. Alright, well. Now I should delete these other tracks, export. I'll cut out some of the white noise. Not the white noise, but now the silence at the beginning. Oh yeah, that's great. That's what I want. Export as MP3. And I'll try to keep my metadata clean. I'll try to keep my metadata clean. What should I call this? Oh, it was called like what was it called? The Carnival Made. I feel like that's just so Carnival Made 1910. Save. Metadata. Artist name. Let's give tribute where tribute is due. Credit. Give credit where credit is due. Ted Snyder is the composer. Thomas Mills is the xylophone instrumentalist. Says it's popular music. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It was recorded in New York. All right. So should I say it was Ted Snyder? I don't know. Yeah, he's the composer. Let's say Ted Snyder. Ted Snyder featuring, what was his name? Thomas Mills. Featuring Thomas Mills. Track title, Carnival Made. Maybe I'll like this and put a link to it on my Substack or something, because it just brings me so much happiness. I'm going to say album title. Do I have an... I should create a template for creating my Library of Congress tracks. And since they're public domain, I could just put all this on an album and just list it for sale somewhere, but I'm not going to. In fact, what I should do is put a sick little kick drum. Maybe and then that would be so funny. Album title. Library of Congress. Track number. Why, this is the first track, isn't it? For me. Year 1910. Genre, of course, it's pop music. And maybe I can put the name of the... do they have a name of the band? No, they do not. There you go. A quality added to our repertoire of information. Well, that took up the rest of the time I had allotted for the stream. But wasn't it fun? Didn't I have a good time? And isn't this just a banger of a song? You know it is. Where did I save it? I've got to find it. Oh, and here's my high low. I should save it to my music folder. That's what I should do. But I'll keep it where it is. I can't find it. Where did I just save it? Where did I just save it? Found it. No. No, I didn't. Export as MP3. Oh. That's where I saved it. Up a folder. Yes. listen to this for days, man. I'm gonna set this as like, oh, I am going to so do this. I'm gonna put this as my alarm in the morning. How can you not wake up with a smile on your face? This is the kind of dance that you want to do. You got kind of like snake your body, move your head. It's exactly the kind of dance. You can put your hands in the air if you want. Ooh, there's a swell in the music there. I didn't know that was there. Yes, please. Alright. I'm so excited about this one. I don't know why I'm so excited. Okay. That's it. I'm gonna end this stream. But I'm not gonna stop dancing. Alright.